Okay, so one of the questions that comes up a lot with natural health in general, whether it be for supplements or we're looking specifically at frequency using the Iterocare wand here. But one of the questions we get a lot is like, how long should I expect before I would see results for this, that, the other, whatever it may be? And the other question is, and might I have some unpleasant symptoms, like might it cause me detox symptoms and so on? So I want to answer those two questions in this live. So first of all, how long does it take? Well, one of the problems of the wand is that it can often be immensely fast, and we see a lot of results of people that sometimes have suffered for 10, 15, 20 years with, for example, chronic pain, and half an hour later it's gone. That's fantastic. The problem is it sets up an expectation for everybody that this is an absolute miracle and their whatever is going to be resolved in 10, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever, as well. And that doesn't always happen. So we tend to see the testimonials most frequently, which are the most dramatic. So oftentimes it takes longer. So how long? What's normal? What's the most common? And that's what people want to know. And it's not an easy answer. And the reason is that the body is intelligent and the body will tend to take whatever good thing you give it and use it in a priority area. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you have a patch of dry skin on your head here. Well, you've probably got hair on your forehead. You have a patch of dry skin, and somebody says to you, that's caused by dehydration. You need to drink more water. So you think, yeah, do you know what? I don't drink too much water. I'm going to drink more. So you drink an extra 2 glasses a day, and your dry skin, nothing happens. So then you think, well, obviously it's another reason it's not water because I'm doing 2 extra glasses and it's not helped at all. So maybe it's something else. And it might be something else, but it could still be the water, because here's what happens. If you're dehydrated, you'll begin to get symptoms of dehydration, some of which you might not know about, some of which you might know. So dry skin on your face is going to be something that you know about. So you see that dry skin and you think, I've not got enough water. Okay, so you drink water, nothing happens. Why? Well, one reason is it might be the initial thought is that's not fixed it, it's not water, it's something else. And that might be true, it might be fats or something else. That's a possibility. So it could be that the thing you're doing is not the right thing for that particular problem. But oftentimes it is. But here's the thing, the dry skin is just one symptom of dehydration. You may have a load of others. Maybe your kidneys are not functioning properly. Maybe your blood is thicker than it should be. And so when your body gets that water, it's like, thank goodness for that. And what it's going to do is take that water and prioritize it. So it's going to take it maybe to the kidneys to sort your kidneys first. And you might not have drunk enough to sort the kidneys, the blood, and the dry skin. Well, the dry skin is the least important from the body's point of view. It's the thing you're trying to fix, but the body doesn't care about that because you've got a kidney problem and a blood problem. It's going to fix that first. And once it's done that satisfactory, then it will look at other things like your dry bit of skin. So the body is brilliant and marvelously made like that, and that's what it's going to do, prioritize. So you could have 10 people with dry skin, but some of them, that's their only symptom of dehydration, and they're the ones that are going to get an immediate, they just drink the 2 glasses of water, and a few days later the skin is all clear, everything's great. Some others, nothing's happened because they've got deeper dehydration problems, and the body's dealing with some of those problems first. Hopefully that makes sense. The body's going to do the same with frequency or nutrition or other things like that. It's going to take it and use it where it's most needed first, and where it's most needed might not be something you're aware of. For example, you might have the beginnings of cancer, and you might have a painful knee. And so you get the wand and you're wanding your knee, and the other person with a painful knee, it healed it in 20 minutes, but you wand away and nothing happens. Why? Your body's taking that frequency and it's using it to fight cancer that you don't know you've got. So once it's dealt with the cancer, then it can start working on other things. And then 2 months later, you're almost about to give up. You're wanding your knee, and then boom, your knee's sorted. And you don't realize that so's your cancer that you didn't know you had, and now it's working on your knee. So this is why it's an impossible question to say how long is it going to take, because you don't know, let alone the person you're asking, what's going on in your body, what the priorities are, etc. So the thing to do is when you get something like the wand, is you just be persistent and consistent with it. Now, if you work the specific areas of problem, that area is more likely to get past the healing because you're putting the frequency directly on it. But it doesn't follow that it's going to stay there, just like the water's not going to stay there, etc. So that's the first part of the question. How long? It's really an impossible question because of the prioritizing of the body. Okay, so we don't know what else is going on, what the body is going to see as as the most important. Now, on to the question about, might the wand cause you to have any unpleasant symptoms, such as detox symptoms and so on? And the answer is that what the wand does, or rather what the frequencies do that it's emanating, is that they're seeking to rebalance the body. So if you're sick, or even if you're not sick, but you're not just functioning optimally, it's due to imbalances. Now, there are many reasons for imbalances. One of the big ones is toxins. In the case of frequency, there's also an imbalance electrically, so you might have lower frequencies than you should be operating at. You might have pH imbalances, hormonal imbalances, water imbalances, dehydration, and so on. So there's lots of things where the body could be out of balance. When you're healthy and thriving, you're in balance. The further out of balance you are, then the further towards the state of disease that you are. Okay, so if you're chronically sick with something, you're out of balance. You can't be in balance and chronically sick. You are out of balance. So the natural approach then is to seek to bring about balance. Okay, and the wand is the greatest tool I've ever found for what it does in that area, and that's why we see such amazing results on so many different things. However, you need to understand something about balance. It's assumed if you're out of balance, this is out of balance and this is balance, okay, and you start to do something towards to get to balance, there's a line like this, except it's not like that. Let me explain. I'm going to give you some analogies that hopefully will help you to understand this. So let's talk about an out of balance state that we've all had, that we've created ourselves. We've all gone to sleep and woke up lying on our arm or our leg, funny, or something, where we've basically blocked the blood flow into the arm, and it's a dead arm. We wake up with a dead arm or a dead leg. Okay, and you wake up and it's like, oh, my arm's dead. Oh, it feels horrible. So what do we do? Right. So what's first, actually, before we say what do we do, what caused that? So that was caused by a restriction of blood flow into the arm and hand because you're lying on it and blocking the blood from flowing freely. Okay, so that's the cause. We know what the cause is. So we can fix that instantly by just getting off our arm, and even better, wiggling our hand, get the blood flowing again, right? So we can fix that rapidly. Okay, so when we stop the problem, the cause, we get off our arm, we have to wiggle out, and if we did nothing, our blood would get back. So when we stop the cause, the process to fix it begins immediately, and then after a few minutes, hopefully your hand feels great. Okay, so you stop the cause, fix. However, the pathway from stopping the cause to fixing it is not from dead to better, gradually better, better, better. Actually, it feels worse. When we get the blood start to come back, we start to get really bad pins and needles. And it's like, oh, my hand. And then we go through that worst phase before it gets better. So that's an example where we are fixing in one instant the cause of the problem, and it still doesn't go from the state it's out of bad to better in a straight line. It gets worse first. I'm going to give you another example before I expand on that. So if you have ever spun around until the point when you fall over because you get so dizzy, you will know that spinning around causes dizziness. And the mechanism for that is it disrupts the ear fluids, which are needed for balance. It disrupts them, knocks them out of balance, and then that causes dizziness. Okay, so the cause is spinning. The mechanism is ear fluids out of balance, swishing around and all that. and and the symptom is dizziness. So this is something we can 100% stop the cause in an instant. We just stop spinning. Okay, but when we stop spinning, rather than and now we start to feel better, oftentimes like they stop and then the room is spinning and then we still fall over sometimes, even after we've stopped, because we don't go from okay, we're starting to feel dizzy, stop, we're feeling better. We go from starting to feel dizzy, stop, even worse. This is a common thing when we're moving from imbalance to balance. We have this period where things get worse, even when we can 100% remove the cause in an instant. Now, usually we can't 100% remove the cause in an instant. For example, if the cause is toxicity, we can't get rid of every toxin in our body in an instant and then start heading to balance. We get rid of some of the toxins, and that causes problems in itself, because once we get rid of some of the toxins, the body says, fantastic, now I can start dumping some of the old toxins I was storing, and it dumps more toxins into the body to get rid of, and that causes a problem. So we have complications with the many factors because we can't completely stop it, reverse it, the cause, in an instant, the way we can stop spinning, or get off our arm or whatever. We can't do that. So there can be a situation when you're using frequency, terahertz gap frequency, or if you're using supplementation, the same thing. There can be a situation where things go from not great to worse on the way to getting better. That can happen. Okay. Now, typically, we want to reduce that as much as possible. We don't want to feel worse. So one of the ways that we do that is making sure we drink plenty of water when we're wanding, or if we're doing any other kind of detox with supplements and so on. We're going to make sure we're drinking enough. And in the case of the one, we want to be drinking the purest water that we can get, and we want it charged and structured through the wand. So that's going to help with the detox part of things, and that reduces the potential for symptoms. But even the water on its own can cause some people to actually have some sort of detox feelings, because as the body starts to flush, it does often release more toxins to deal with. So so the answer in short then is yes, you can feel worse before you feel better. You want to reduce that as much as possible by going cautiously on the time that you're wanting. So don't go, if you're a very sensitive person or a very toxic person, usually the people that are very sensitive are toxic. That's why they're sensitive. So if you are very sensitive, then what you want to do is go cautiously. Don't go in and do an hour on the wand day one. Maybe start with just the water, and then start, once you've had a day or two of the water, then you might move to the wand for maybe 10 minutes and do 10 minutes of wanding and see how you go, and then gradually increase as your body is ready for that. So, okay, guys, then I hope that is helpful, and this is all part of the basic customer support that we're offering, so that people understand what's going on when they're using the wand, and some of the key questions that we get asked a lot. So I hope that was helpful for you. Thanks very much. Any other questions, just throw them in the group, and we'll do our best to get back with answers for you.